Hello, my name is Ariel Delgado, and this is my Flask chat application for CS50 Web. And we're in the application.py file now, and as you can see, I have some global variables here, and I made these global variables to deal with all the chat data and user profile. There's probably a better way that I could have gone about this, but for the purposes of this application, we were given the freedom to do whatever we want. Probably would have used a database if it was a real application, but I think this works for this file. But if you're interested in the data structures that I use, I put them in notes here. So let's dig into the application and see how everything works. So this is my login page. I spent quite a bit of time messing around with this. So what I did is I downloaded an SVG file from an open source art website, and I had a little bit of fun with it. So as you can see, I have some cool CSS effects happening. I'm zooming into the image, and because this is a vector file, and I inlined the SVG vector file into the HTML, I'm not using any image quality as I'm zooming in. Everything stays nice and crisp. And I also have this cool effect because with SVG files, you can kind of manipulate every little thing on this image. The moon is kind of flickering. I could have really spent some time animating every little element of it, but I didn't. I just used a few. But if you see these little things here, I messed around with it, and when I type a letter, you can see they kind of shoot off like shooting stars, which I thought was pretty cool. So that's pretty much it. I had a lot of fun with this, and really you could do so much. You can make these trees kind of move and make it look like there's a wind blowing, and you can make the stars flicker, but because of time constraint, I just decided to kind of leave it here. So let's log into the page, and you have this cool transition that you saw there when you log into the page, which again just kind of adds a nice feel to the website, makes it look kind of cool. And I used JavaScript. I Googled around on how to make page transitions, and I used JavaScript. And you can look at the code to see what I did. I borrowed a bit of code from a website that had a tutorial on how to make these transitions. And this is our main app website or application. And as you can see, we have some of the basic requirements. We have the title, we have the username of the person that's logged in, and then a list of channels and the ability to create a new channel if you want to. Now, one thing I want to note that I think is pretty cool is that I made this application responsive, and I used a pretty cool technique that I learned. I was reading some tutorials, and so I have this function that listens for this white container here, and when the width of that container reaches a certain number, what happens is, you can see, it's that the whole structure changes, and so you have now this new structure that makes it easier for people that are on tablet or smaller screens like phones to use the application, and that's pretty cool. And it's pretty cool how it just listens to that container width, and you can kind of just control it like wherever you want that to happen, and I think that's pretty cool. So now let's join a channel. So we have the general channel by default, and if I click on it, I get the name of the channel and the members inside that channel, which is just one person now. And I can send a message in that channel, world, and you can see the user that sent the message. You can see the message and the timestamp, which were requirements for this project. So next, let's create a channel, which is the next requirement. So let's create a channel named channel 2. Click on create channel, and you can see that the channel now it's here. If I click on it, this little number goes up in this bubble, which tells me that now there's a user in that channel. But of course, the main functionality of the chat applications is that users should be able to talk to one another. So let's log in another user so that they can communicate. So I'm going to open this one in Safari, just so know that my application is working across browsers. And here we go. This is the same version of the login screen, but on a mobile version. I should probably increase the text of this, but we'll do that later. So I'm going to type in the username, Carlos, and I'm going to hit enter and have the same little animation. And now I am in the main application, and I can see that there's a general channel, and I can see that it's a channel 2. So I'm going to join channel 2. Which is where Ariel is currently at, and I'm going to send a message to Ariel, and as you can see, Ariel can see that message in real time, and you can respond back to Carlos, and Carlos can see it in real time. And also Carlos can create his own channel, And now we have channel 3. Ariel can see the creation of the channel. Currently there's no users in that channel, but if Ariel joins, then Carlos can see that somebody has joined the channel. He can join, and then they can have a conversation. And there we go. And that's the basic functionality of sending messages back and forth. Now, of course, if there's a bunch of channels, then one of the requirements was that we should be able to see all those channels in the page. So you can scroll and see those channels without, see those messages without them rolling off the screen. And I think that was the last requirement. And that kind of just makes up the whole chat application. I think that's it. Thank you.